Okay, so today I'm going to talk about value statements. We're going to look at what a value statement is, what makes a value statement strong and or weak, and then we're going to again look at some real world examples. It's our third pop-up workshop in the series. We started with vision and mission, and this week's values, and then next week we're going to talk about how you can use these three kind of statements. So let's get started with what value statements are. Oh, and my slides are not exactly perfect, but we'll work with them. So a value statement, it qualifies the way your league does its work. So it's not about the goal that you want to achieve and not necessarily about the specific things you're going to do, but how you do them. And really, it's breaking down what you believe is important and identifying any priorities that you might have, as well as beliefs of the organization as a whole. It's really about showing your board, your volunteers, and your community why you're worth supporting and what it is that you're all about. And then it's also about creating that strong understanding of beliefs, and that's really done through providing clear definitions. So we're going to go through some examples from Volunteer Alberta this week. They have quite a number of value statements, so I found them to be a really good example. So the first one here is the idea that community is one of their values. So in a weaker set of value statements, you might see just the titles here. So you might see things like community, stewardship, volunteerism, ingenuity, excellence, and integrity. What I really like about Volunteer Alberta's statements is that they say what each of those means. So for community, they cultivate community through cooperation, collaboration, and network stewardship. So really, they believe in working together. Because they use the word stewardship in the first statement, they really define what that means to them. So they say they serve the nonprofit sector by fostering connections and network development that allows them to enhance the community's quality of life. Because they're a volunteer organization, one of their values is volunteerism, and they believe that it's transformative and pretty intrinsic to society. The three others they have, ingenuity, excellence, and integrity, are also common ones that you might see in other organizations. What I really like that Volunteer Alberta does is they've picked some ones that are really specific to them. Volunteerism and community are the two key ones for me. But it's going to be something different depending on exactly what's important in your community, in your neighborhood. So when we talked about vision statements, one of the vision statements, the one for Downtown Edmonton Community League, used the word vibrancy in their vision. Through their values, they might define what vibrancy means to them or how they create vibrancy. Integrity, I think, is important here because it brings together quite a few different concepts. So in their definition of integrity, they include honesty, transparency, accountability, as well as being trustworthy, inclusive, and the commitment to a high quality of work. Excellence, I would probably say, is one of the weaker values in this statement, just because it's a little too generic in some ways for a value statement, because I'd be hard-pressed to find an example of an organization that wants average work or mediocre work or even poor work. So when you're thinking about your value statements, you want to try to avoid things that might be a given.